that there is an infinite amount of oil, and so we don't have to drill in sensitive areas. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. Renewables will solve all of our problems, and so forth. And so people are not really facing up to the real issues that are involved.
(19세기) 원유가 처음으로 미국에서 발견된 지 첫 100여 년은 원유가 풍부했다. 이 나라가 강대국으로 성장할 수 있었던 이유 중에 하나이기도 했다. 그러나 1970년대에 미국의 피크 오일이 왔다. 자체 생산량의 최대점. 미국은 사회를 유지하기 위해서 하루에 1000만 배럴의 원유를 뽑아내고 있었다. 그 이래로 원유 생산량은 절반인 500만 배럴로 감소했다. 반면 소비량은 1500만 배럴로 증가했다. 그 결과 미국은 이제 1000만 배럴의 원유를 매일 수입해야만 한다. 이것이 미국이 처한 상황이다.
Of the top 9 oil exporters in the world, only democratic Norway is a liberal democracy. The others are all either autocratic kingdoms or dictatorships, or they may pretend to democracy such as Russia, but are in fact dictatorships. I think that there's no way the United States or North America could increase its production of oil from relatively expensive sources such as oil shale in the United States or oil sands in Alberta and Canada, and then build a protective barrier around North America and just consume what we produce.
제임스 울씨는 1990년대에 CIA의 정보국장이다. 그는 현재 환경 문제의 전문가가 되어 있다. 그는 CIA를 위해서 일하든지 환경 보호를 위해서 활동하든지 그 궁극적인 목적은 같다고 믿는다.
Not destroy oil, but destroy its strategic role, destroy its monopoly, destroy its dominance of transportation. I think by moving toward electrification of transportation and toward alternative biofuels, second and third generation biofuels largely made from waste products, from agricultural residues, from algae, etc.
원유 의존도는 미국이 쿠웨이트와 이라크를 침범한 주요한 이유다. 이 두 나라는 미국의 원유를 가장 많이 공급하는 중요한 나라다. 그러나 최근 들어서 미국의 수요를 간신히 감당하고 있다. 미국은 원유 무역에 뛰어들어 정치적으로 소원한 관계였던 나라들과 동맹을 맺었다. 그 중에는 베네수엘라, 나이지리아와 같은 불안정한 나라들도 포함된다. 그러나 미국의 가장 중요한 원유 공급국은 사우디아라비아다. 가장 권위적인 왕족이 군사적 극단주의자인 이슬람계 와하비와 결탁한 나라다. 원유를 공급받는 대신 미국은 막대한 양의 무기를 와하비에게 팔았다.
In Wahhabi Islam, which if you read their fatwas, which is what one ought to read, not what they say to us, but what they say to one another in Arabic, translated. The Wahhabis of Saudi Arabia's views are murderous with respect to Shiite Muslims, Jews, homosexuals, and apostates, extraordinarily oppressive of women, and have as the objective a worldwide caliphate someday, a worldwide theocracy, a theocratic dictatorship. Those views are substantively the same as Al-Qaeda's. Al-Qaeda believes they should feel free to fly airplanes into buildings in New York and Washington or any place else, wherever they want, whenever they want. But the substantive views of the Wahhabis and Al-Qaeda are approximately the same. Because they are so rich, Saudis control about 90% of the world's Islamic institutions. Well, what that means is if a little Pakistani boy in Rawalpindi or a little Palestinian boy in Hebron is being taught in a school that he should, more than anything else, want to be a suicide bomber, the people who are paying for him to be educated, those little boys to be educated that way, are essentially you and me. Every time we pull into a filling station, every time we fill up with gasoline.
Well, clearly, the U.S. is not producing what it had in the past. Today, the United States is importing 65% of the crude oil that it uses. I can remember a time when folks got concerned when that number approached 20%, and clearly we're far beyond that. So in terms of what it means for the nation's energy security, the increased oil and gas production that could come from Alaska would go a long way to satisfying the needs of U.S. energy consumers.
그러므로 알래스카의 원유 발굴이 2008년 미 대통령 선거 공약으로 나온 것은 놀랄만한 일이었다. 알래스카 출신 세라 팰린 공화당 부통령 후보자가 제시한 공약이었다.
We cannot leave ourselves at the mercy of foreign suppliers. To confront the threat that Iran might seek to cut off nearly a fifth of the world's energy supplies, or that terrorists might strike again at the Abqaiq facility in Saudi Arabia, or that Venezuela might shut off its oil discoveries and its deliveries of that source. Americans, we need to produce more of our own oil and gas and take it from a gal who knows the North Slope of Alaska. We've got lots of both.
How many drilling operations are going to be allowed? Is it 2, 4, 10, 15, 20? We don't know. Nobody will tell us. And in that light, we have what we call cumulative effects, because there are 3 or 4 major multinational, international oil companies that want to operate offshore. And by themselves, they don't make much of a difference, and so they're given the permit. But cumulatively, when you put all 3 or 4 together, then the noise, the support ships, the helicopter services, everything starts to add up, and pretty soon it seems that the value of oil and gas